ye children the instructions of a father, and attend to knowing understanding. For I give you good doctrine, forsake not my law. For I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in sight of my mother. He taught me also and said unto me, let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. Get wisdom and get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory. She shall deliver to thee. Oh, hear, O my son, and receive my sayings. And in the years of thy life shall be many. I have taught thee in the way of wisdom, and I have led thee in right paths. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straitened. And when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go, keep her, for she is thy life. Enter not into the path of the wicked, nor go in the way of the evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they have caused some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. My son, attend to my words, incline thine ear to my sayings. Let them not depart from thine eyes, and keep them in the midst of thine heart. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thine heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Yes. Put away from thee a forward mouth, and a perverse lips from thee. And let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right, nor to the left hand. Remove thy foot from evil. Proverbs chapter 4. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits, who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 7. All praises to the Most High. We give God the praise, we give God the glory, we thank God for all that He has done. Yes, we do, and it's beautiful day. It's raining here where I'm at, but I thank God anyway. I go out to the rain to let it fall on me. I ain't got no troubles, because my troubles are God's troubles. Yes, all praises to the Most High. And we thank God for you, and you. You're walking with Mr. Clay. I'm Mr. Clay. And also we thank God for those of you who have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have been with us here and there's about, and those of you who have just subscribed, as well as those of you who are about to subscribe. Yes, even the viewers. Yes, we calling those things that are not as though they are. All praises to the Most High. Yes, He is worthy of all praise. Yes. Hallelujah. Yes, however we're going to say that. But we give God glory in that it seems like the world is going a mess. But God, it takes a mess to straighten it out. Have you ever seen a carpenter? It looks like he don't know what he's doing until he gets finished. Or a metalsmith, or a goldsmith, or any artist. or construction worker or construction or remodeling going on, it's always a mess to the one looking on and don't know what is going on. But to the artist and the one that sees what he's doing, it's beautiful. And that's the same thing with our Father. Even he who gives us all that we have. He's not our Father, but he's one that he nurtures us and he leads us along the way. He causes us to even understand. He chastises us. Yes, he's all that and then some. God is a spirit, our creator, our guide. Yes, our chastiser. If you want to put that in the category of father, mother, sister, brother, you can do that if you want to. But beware of how you do it and what you mean by it, of your heart and the hearts that it affects. Because many have fallen shipwrecked at these terminologies. God is a spirit, period. God is like the wind. We're going to always say this. God is like the wind. This is the only way they could explain it. God is like something that whooshes past you, or something that's there, you know is there, but you just can't put your finger on it. No, you can never, or your eyes can't see it. For this cause many have become shipwrecked, and that they've taken on to idols and taken on to messiahs and all this other stuff. You are, or you can be, a Christ. What are you saying, man? You can be anointed by how you follow the Most High. Christ means anointed. They're going to make many Christ that come with the Most High when he comes. You're not going to see him. No one that's living going to see him, but you're going to see his Christ come right with him. I ain't talking about one person. I'm talking about 10,000s, thousands of his Christ. Not no 144,000, but 10,000, thousands of his Christ. Yes, his anointed. Those who have endured, those who have went to the last day that Daniel saw. He said, blessed is he that cometh to this certain number of days, didn't he? Huh? I ain't speaking of, see, even in this Revelation, this Proverbs, where did Esau, or where did they get this thing that they say, this Esau says, turn not to the right nor the left. Let not your right hand know what your left hand is doing. But he says, remove thy foot from evil. See, they reworded this thing. We can find it all in here. See, he was telling his son to do those things that he should do that are right. You understand, wisdom is simple. Wisdom is simple when it comes to morality. Wisdom is simple when it comes to whatever occupation you might go. Wisdom is simple. In other words, if you know the basics of that wisdom, then you have mastered, or that subject, and you're putting it to test, you have gotten wisdom. The same thing when you turn your foot away from evil, when you don't walk with wicked people, you have just walked into the way of wisdom. Because you're not going to go that way no more, no matter who tries to entice you. And young man, when you begin to sit up there and see the evils that a woman does, that loves to sit in high places, and you playing basketball and stuff, and she calls unto you, all pretty and nice, woo, everything in the right place, according to how you've been brainwashed. But her brain is off to the demons. She wants to ruin you. It's not your money. Even those of you that are righteous, she wants to ruin you. This devil have got, I want to be equal with God. I want to be equal with him. I want to show them I can bring them down in her spirit. But yet she acts like she doesn't know what she's doing. Come on, man. But I digress. We're in the book of 2 Chronicles, still in the book of 2 Chronicles, in chapter 34 as you prepare. Yes. We're seeing how God is dealing with these big nations. See, you understand that I keep trying to tell you the feat of Daniel is just about to come to pass. Right now you have central domination of the earth. You have the European nations, and they explain it all over social media how these things occur. When a nation is going down, or people, look at Babylon, they're going to fight. They're going to fight and scratch, trying to get ahead above the water. They're using different nations because they don't want to be unpopular among their people. And already God is diminishing the whole thing. But here's another thing. Although you're a different hue, when it rises, evil gonna rise with it. Not as the evil that you have just experienced, but an adulterous evil. Although organized, military, powerful, but this evil that shall occur. You're never gonna have the righteousness of the Most High. Be just like Lot in the city of Gomorrah. This is the way it's going. But nevertheless, let's get into 2 Chronicles. I can keep talking, but let us watch. Read the books of Daniel, and how these, even the kings, how that they fail. How some of them even resulted into crying. They changed their ways, but what's in their heart was in their heart. Period. Now, we're nearing the end of this. Chapter 34. Josiah. Yes. He was also one we had read about even in the book of should I say, 1st and 2nd Kings. We read about Josiah. Yes. And we just came about with somebody's name, Josiah. Yes. But anyway, he was the son of Manasseh. This Josiah was the son of Manasseh, son of David. In other words, he come down the kingly line of David. Now Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 31 years. And he did that which was right in the sight of the I Am, and walked in the ways of David his father, and declined neither to the right hand nor to the left. Oh, he did not. He obeyed the commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High. Oh, nobody can't keep the law. That's a lie, a lie, a lie. You can keep the law. In many places, many of you are prohibited from keeping the law and doing those things, or not only by corporations, not only by your work schedules, not only by you being threatened with being put out of your house or home, because the systematic thing is already set up. It's already set up. You cannot go and celebrate the new moon, neither can you go and celebrate 7 days after the new moon, which is the Sabbath. Neither let your lands rest for a year after 6 years of just the land working and working hard, God blessing, and His yielding is increasing. You're just looking at all the profit that you're getting. Greed sets in. But he kept the commandments of the Most High, where in this land we are systematically prohibited. Yes, put it that way, from keeping the commandments of the Most High. But we can keep some things. Many of you still have to work on the Sabbath. Why can't you work on the new moon? Why can't you just, when you get off work, don't do nothing? Prepare as though it's the Sabbath, just like you do on Saturday. The weekend is for their convenience. Sure, it's for their convenience. It's not God's convenience. That's not God's seventh day. That's their seventh day. We go by creation and what is natural. Even all your astrologers and all these other people and all nature itself goes by nature. The moon rise, the moon going down. All things work by the moon. Out of darkness came light. Darkness was first, and then was born light. Fools are we to understand and go by the things of man. And he does not even understand his own self, only that he wants to enrich himself during his lifetime. Now, he did that which was right. Now in verse 3, he said, for in the 8th year of his reign, while he was yet young, he began to seek after God, the God of David his father. In the 12th year he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem from the high places and groves and carved images and molten images. Now the same thing, when you become a husband, first you're going to sit up there and you're going to check this wife, check this one who's potentially your wife, to make sure she's walking down the path that God had commanded for you. You're going to do this. I don't care how much of a BBL or how everything she's got and wigs and false stuff she has. Yeah, it look good. Yeah, it's enticing. But what is practical? Just like a car. Yeah, they can look good, have all these dings and downs and all that stuff, but then how's the engine running? How's it on fuel? Do I need fuel for it? All these things are put into play. Don't be a fool for what it looks like. Be wise for how it performs. Yes. For in the 8th day of his reign he was young. He began to seek after God of David his father. And in the 12th year of his reign he began to purge Judah. In other words, baby, if you ain't going to do this right, I ain't got nothing to do with you. If you're not going to walk according to as I have said, then I can find somebody that will. But in this case, this is his wife. This is the woman he's espoused to. It's called Jerusalem. From the high places and the groves he carved images and molten images. And they break down all the idols of Balaam in his presence and the images that were on high above. He cut down the groves and he carved. Oh, God, give me even. If I had a place where somebody said, well, you could be mayor or you can be ruler of this place. Oh, you best believe we going back to those days. You will catch flack from every Western nation, every Hindu, Islamic nation, everything, because you do things by the way God says do it. Yes, you do. In other words, you commit adultery, you're going to be put to death. If you lay with a woman or you cause the raping of a young'un, you're going to be put to death and it shall be speedy. You ain't going to spend no 3 and 4 years in no lockup. You going out of this life because you took them out of this life. You degraded them. If you touch them, you shall be beaten with many stripes. Yes, you will. Oh, you will have a lawful people, upright land. Yes, and if you falsely accuse anyone, and it's found that you falsely accuse, you will suffer their same sentence, whether it be the ultimate or whether it be stripe for stripes. Yes, you will do that. And then if they're living, you're going to pay restitution to them for your lies. These things shall we do. Yes, God is good, isn't he? You strike fear upon people. This is what God had given Israel to do. Not that it was evil, but he had checks and balances in there too. For those who would accuse falsely, he had checks and balances. Yes, he did. And the fact is that they forsook it all. The checks, the balance, the commandments all together because they couldn't get around it. But here you got Josiah. He purged them. Judah and Jerusalem from high places and the groves and the carved images and the molten images. And they break down the altars of Balaam. God doesn't share his throne with no Isis, no Yahweh, no Yahusha, no body, no Balaam. No. His glory is his and his alone. For he alone created the heavens and earth. You hear these things, mistranslations and corruptions of the scriptures that we have. But God alone was in darkness because it wasn't darkness to him. God is a spirit. How can you measure a spirit? How can you tell a spirit that what he's doing is wrong? How can you tell a spirit whether it is light or day? Come on here. We ain't talking about no idolatry. And they break down the altars. Okay, verse 5. Let's keep going. And when he had broken down the altars and the groves and had beaten the graven images into powder and cut down all the idols throughout the land of Israel, he returned to Jerusalem. Yes, he did. Now, in the 18th year of his reign, he had purged the land. It took him 18 years to do this, huh? And the house he sent Shaphan. See, there's a time span in this thing. You got to get it going. You know, you look like Burkina Faso and Mali and Niger. It takes time. You got to get people in accord, even to change the language where the children have to grow up to understand and know the language that is going to be, should I say, common among the Sahel. It takes time. Even the money, how it's got to change. You got to draw out the money that's in there. You can't just all of a sudden take the money away. You got to take that money gradually and replace it with the new money. But yet you take that money, you burn it, you get rid of it and say free at last. You rename the streets. Yes, it didn't take a day to rename the streets. It had to take an agreement. Oh, glory to the Most High, even our Sanini Nanini. Yes, means I am that I am. Okay. All right, now. He says now, and Messiah, the governor of the city, I'm in verse 8, and Joah, the son of Joahaz, the recorder, to repair the house of the I am. Every time it had to take repair. We got to repair these scriptures. We got to find where these scriptures are at that they talk about. I ain't talking about those 27 books and all that pertain to them. We don't need those. No. It's not even up to that. And he says they came to Hilkiah the priest, and they delivered the money that was brought into the house of God, which the Levites that kept the doors had gathered of the land of Manasseh and Ephraim, and of all the remnant of Israel and Judah and Benjamin or Benoni, and they returned to Jerusalem. And they put it in the hand of the workmen that had the oversight. God gonna pay you. You ain't got no business doing no free work for no house of worship. That's stupid. You gotta eat. You have things you want to buy. God pays you. And he had put it in their hearts to do so. Even in the regular temple, he paid them. And they put it in the hands of the workmen and the oversight in the house of the house of the Lord. And they gave it to the workmen that wrought in the house of the I am to repair and to mend the house. Even to the artificers and builders, and gave they it to buy hewn stones and timber for couplers and floor for the housing which the kings of Judah. No, you just don't give stuff like that. This stuff costs money. People have to process it, which the kings of Judah had destroyed. And the men did the work faithfully, and the overseers of them were Jehath and Obadiah and the Levites and the sons of Merari and Zechariah and Meshulam. You think these men going to sit up there, the supervisors? You talk about, they said overseers. They mean supervisors in your language that you understand today, Mr. English scholar. There wasn't no slaves. No, they wasn't. They were paid to do this. Of the sons of Merari and Zechariah and Meshulam, and of the sons of the Kohathites, and set it forward, and other of the Levites, all that could skill of instruments of music. He put clean hands on that thing. Now, also they were over the bearers of burdens, and there were overseers of all that wrought the work of any manner of service, and of the Levites that were scribes and officers and porters. And when they brought out money that was brought into the house of the I am, Hilkiah the priest found a book of the law of the I am given by Moses. In other words, they done throw this stuff, they done hid it somewhere. And Shaphan carried the book to the king and brought the king word back and saying, all that was committed to thy servants, they do it. And they have gathered together the money that was found in the house of the I am and delivered it into the hands of the overseers, the supervisors, and the hand of the workmen. In other words, you got to know what you got to see the pattern. Many of you have to study the Most High's, the documents, the scripts. You have to study in order to understand how you should conduct yourself or what you should do. Yes, you do. And this is what they did. Now, he says, now, in the house of the I am was delivered into the hands of the overseers, to the hand of the workmen. And Shaphan the scribe told the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest hath given me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king. And if it came to pass, when the king had heard the words of the law, he rent his clothes. In other words, we've been doing it all wrong. Yes, you've been doing it all wrong, Christian, Muslim, Catholic, Episcopal. You've been doing it all wrong. And the king commanded Hilkiah, Hakim, the son of Shaphan, and Abidan, the son of Milcah, and Shaphan. You're all caught up in adultery, idolatry, effeminacy. You all say, oh, turn the other cheek, by not as even as the other is real definition. The scribe and Asaiah and the servant of the king saying, 21, he says, and go inquire of the I am for me, for them that are left in Israel and in Judah. Now, some were left in the 10 tribes. Not all of the 10 tribes were taken by the Syrian king and taken up above the Euphrates. No, they was not. Into the land of the Medes. No, they was not. You still had some that were there, but the majority was carried there. Okay? They don't want the period. This one Star Talk, I like him. Because he gave one interesting thing. He says, now, you got the colonizers. He's just going to take those that can work. If you're dumb, he's not going to acknowledge that out of the place where he took in slaves, that he had those that were wise, that were artificers, those that were carpenters, those that were this and that. He took just anything he can take that was strong enough to do what he had to do. Now the colonizer, as crazy and unscrupulous as he went and took just anything. I just won't work. But then he found out later that these people could do more work than he thought. They were able to do many things. Yes. And also the ones that were already there. See, some of you who say that I'm going to put it this way and say it just as most people with kinky hair and darker skin are indigenous of the earth. All, if not all. Let that sink for a minute. That's why you're indigenous in Australia, you're indigenous in the US and South America, you're indigenous in Africa, you're indigenous all over the land. When Noah got off the boat, people were going places. Not everybody stayed right there with the people that were gathered. They went across Egypt. Mizraim went east, he went west. And then you had some went east and south and north. Now, how they come back with the different colors and races, God will show that eventually. I can assume, I can think about it, but don't mean that it's so. Let us continue. He says, go and inquire of the I am for me, verse 21. And for them that are left in Israel and Judah concerning the words of the book that is found. For great is the wrath of the I am that is poured out upon us because of our fathers who have not kept the word of the I am to do after all that is written in this book. Whoa! Now Josiah had something going on that we should acknowledge today. You have taken those things which are not. You have not engrossed yourself into the Holy Scriptures. You have not even gone to the historical account, but you take the words of them who stand up on a podium when so many books are distributed throughout the whole globe to even know that you are in adultery, fornication, that what seemeth right unto you is the way of death, because it's the way of your flesh, and that the way that you teach and preach is detrimental to your brother and your sister, and that she loses her virginity. And many of you African people come up there, oh, she has to have a bride price. You already have a woman that have committed these things and you have not protected your virgin. But yet you can quote the scriptures and all these things. The same thing in the United States and all over the globe. Why is there not a virgin in the whole world? From their youth, they are violated. Yes, mother doesn't watch, father doesn't watch, stepfather is corrupted, granddaddy might be corrupted. Yes, and they lose their virginity. Little brother, cousin. I mean, it's called a buck. If it fits you, wear it. Nobody's watching out. This woman can walk with pride and says, I am truly a virgin. I am truly one that God has blessed to be a virgin. It's a rarity. You even got one person, they even got to the point where they go in certain countries where monkeys even take their liberties out on women or little girls. They don't tell you about that, but it's so. Now, and it came to pass when the king heard the words of the law, he rent his clothes. Why did he rent his clothes? We're not doing what God says do. I have a religiousness, I know something, but what does it actually say? I know something in me tell me something is wrong, but what does God say? This is what we live. This is what we're living for. He said, "Go inquire of the I am for me, for them that are left." He says, "For concerning the words of the book that is found, for great is the wrath of the I am poured out upon us." Yes, it is. You can look around you today. Why are you the tail and not the head? Why are many nations above you and not below you? Or even can't even be equal with you, but they look at you with disdain and call you a byword and everything else. Why is that? Because the wrath of the I am is poured out upon you. Because of our fathers who have not kept the word of the I am to do after that is written in that Bible that you're talking about, that book. That, not the 27, that's not commandments, that's nothing. That's 66. They only quote what's in that book. But the 66, they try to give you an historical account, but that account is false. God has no one beside him. He says that also in the Old Testament. See and know I am he, and besides me there is no other God. There is nobody beside God. There is no son. God is not a father to have begotten a son through a mother. This is to your own confusion and detriment, that you might not even find the God that you say you believe in. You're steadily kept in the delusion of idolatry in many forms and manners and don't even know it. So here we go. Verse 22, Hilkiah and they that the king had appointed went to Huda, the prophetess. Now, Huda was a prophetess, okay. The wife of Shalom. He always, or Shalom. Shalom. The son of Tikvath, son of Hasrah, keeper of the wardrobe. Now, she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college. What that means, I have to find out. And they spake to her to that effect. In other words, God picked up this woman. His spirit was on this woman. Yes. You don't need no spirit in you. You really, your flesh, God don't even want to dwell in your flesh. Ain't no spirit going to be in you. The spirit comes on you. God's spirit, or portion, very small. You have a portion of spirit God now because you're able to talk and everything else. That's called the breath of life. This is what they call it, spirit of life. We don't get it. No, we don't. Either way. Now they came and appointed and went to Huda the prophetess, the wife. See, it also mentions her husband because they have to do that in order to give honor to her husband. Now, and they spake to her to that effect, and she answered them, "Thus saith the I am God of Israel, tell ye the man that sent you to me." She don't prophesy every day like some of you women do. She kept the commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High. She's not a prophetess of damnation or a damned prophetess. That's what I said. Damned to the torment that Enoch described. Yes, because of her falsehood, speaking out of her own spirit. And they spake to her to that effect. And she answered and said, "Thus saith the I am God of Israel, tell ye the men that sent you to me. Thus saith the I am, behold, I will bring evil upon this place and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the curses that are written in the book which they have read before the king of Judah." That was Deuteronomy chapter 28. This is the book of the law. In other words, God is saying, I already know your heart. Are you going to turn away from me? You're not going to do right. I already see by your doing. And I show you each time your own heart. It's not that God don't know your heart. He's showing you your heart when he allows you to be tempted and drawn away of your own lust. Yes, he does. And 25, and because you have forsaken me and have burned incense unto other gods, that they might provoke me to anger with all the works of their hands, therefore my wrath shall be poured out upon this place and shall not be quenched. As for the king of Judah, you sent to inquire of the I am, so shall ye say unto him, thus saith the I am, God of Israel, concerning the words which thou hast heard. Because thine heart was tender, and thou didst humble thyself before God, thou heardest the words against this place, against the inhabitants thereof. Humblest thyself before me, and didst rend thy clothes, and weep before me, that I have even heard thee, as also saith the I am. Behold, I will gather thee to thy fathers. In other words, you're going to die, you're going to be all right. All flesh is grass, either way. And thou shalt be gathered to thy grave in peace. Neither shall thine eyes see all the evil that I will bring upon this place. This is why the psalmist says, blessed are they of the dead, because they're not going to have to experience the trouble to come. You think these colonizers that catch you in all these traffic stops and hangings and all these other things, you being not only in the U.S. but also in South America. Yes, we know God see how you suffer. Argentina, Brazil, he sees how you suffer. Even Mexico, he sees how you suffer. He's not distant from you. But yet he knows that you are in idolatry. He sends upon wave of trouble, that you might turn from your wicked ways and see the error of what you're doing in idolatry. Come out from among them. God is a spirit. He's not an idol. He's not a woman. He's not a man. We say man because of law, the lawgiver, the authority that he holds. Also, now let's continue. He says, I will gather thee to thy fathers, to the grave, neither shall thine eyes see all the evil, and I will bring upon this place and upon the inhabitants the same. So they brought the king word again, and the king sent and gathered together all the elders of Judah and Jerusalem. And the king went up into the house of the I am, and all the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and priests and the Levites and all the people, great and small, and he read in their ears the words of the book of the covenant that was found in the house of the I am. And all that the I am says, that will we do, they says in Exodus chapter 20. And the king stood in his place and made a covenant before the I am, to walk after the I am and to keep his commandments. This he will have a good life and be prosperous. Yes, until the time that God says it's time for you to go. And his statutes with all his heart and with all his soul, to perform the words of the covenant which are written in this book. And he caused all that were present in Jerusalem, or Benoni, as you know, of Benjamin, to stand to it. And all the inhabitants of Jerusalem did according to the covenant of God and the God of their fathers. And Josiah took away all the abominations out of all the countries that pertained to the children of Israel, and made all that were present in Israel to serve, even to serve the I am their God. And all the days they departed not from following the I am the God of their fathers. Yes. Thank God somebody decided we're going to take what we have left and we're going to do our best with it. All we have left is what we see. We have a corrupted book. Only thing we can do is try to decipher out what is right in this book and what makes sense and what is cohesive and what is a thread that makes sense. The 27 books is a thread that shouldn't even be there. It's a misnomer. And we had to wake up from this. Now God is calling his people back to him. Although there be many, there's only a small remnant. There's only a small stone that shall be ruined out of the many people, small people, in this last day and time. And they are the ones who Enoch wrote about. Now, therefore, also he wrote about, part of his writings was that because of what? The flood that was about to come. Okay, even to this time, he's talking about the thousands that shall come with the Most High. Ain't no 144,000. I don't know where y'all got that from or where they come up concocting this stuff. It was for control. You can't be a part of the 144,000 if you don't give me your tithes and offerings. Money, money, more money, huh? Yeah. But if we do those things that are right before the I am, in keeping His commandments, statutes, and ordinances, we will have peace.
Walk with me.